the government has received the advice of Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health and the COVID-19 command table, recommending that the province close down all public elementary, middle, and high schools for 2 weeks following March break. I have swiftly accepted that advice, and I've issued a ministerial order under the Education Act to close all publicly funded schools from March 14th, 2020 through to April 5th, 2020.
On the day the province saw the largest spike in COVID-19 cases, that late announcement from Education Minister Stephen Lecce shutting down all schools for 2 weeks following March break, officials calling it a necessary precaution to keep people safe. But on the topic of large gatherings, still no mandatory rules in place. With drastic measures being taken in other countries and even provinces, there was one recurrent question during a briefing with top health officials here at Queen's Park today. Why isn't the province implementing any mandatory rules for gatherings in Ontario, the hardest hit province so far?
All of the guidelines surrounding gatherings right now are voluntary. You say you prefer that people, more than 1,000 people don't gather. Why not make that a mandatory requirement?
Our understanding in the province of Ontario, if you're going to make it required by law, that would have to be an emergencies declaration, and then the government would have to put that out. So my direction as the CMOH is to give guidance on the matter and recommendations.
They're making all their decisions based on your guidelines, though, and it sounds like you're suggesting it might be a good idea, but you're not saying, yeah, you should do this.
Well, so far you can see a lot of them have proactively taken a step and canceled events.
Health officials describing the new numbers as quite a jump over the last 24 hours. Ontario seeing the largest single jump, including young children connected to previously diagnosed cases, with at least 5 cases resolved. At least 7 of the new cases traveled to the U.S.
Those who travel, and especially come to the March break, if you choose to take your children with you, when you come back, you're going to be asked to keep the children out of public settings, in the home setting, in isolation, for the 14-day period, and not introduce them especially into the school system or into the daycare system there until you complete that 14-day period.
Today, members also moving a motion to suspend the Ontario legislature should the need arise, under the advice of public health officials. Officials saying they want to protect public workers.
This is a measure that we are taking because there are no other mechanisms in place outside of prorogation that would allow us to further suspend sitting of the legislature. It is our goal, obviously, to present a budget in the legislature. I think that is very important to us. I think that's a place where it should happen.
If it's really necessary for us to be here, should we be here?
In Ottawa today, the Premier announcing Ontario is setting aside a $100 million contingency fund to fight the spread of the pandemic.
In Ontario, we are planning for every single scenario possible. Every ministry is working together to ensure these plans are up to date and keep us ahead of the situation.
But the leader of the opposition says she has yet to hear the plans, especially when it comes to options for employees without sick days.
Let's make sure people can take a couple of days off, even to just get tested if they're not feeling well. These are the kinds of plans that the government should have in place and should be communicating those plans to the public. And if those plans are in place, they aren't being communicated. And these are the kinds of communications that help people, I think, to gain some calm that the government has a handle on things.